Hey, hello everybody. Good evening. We're gonna wait a little bit for Tony. Um, he said that he is on his way with a little bit of trouble. But here we are until Anna comes and Tony comes. Um, we're gonna, I hope you like meditation. Meditation is the art of the respiration to feel the energy of the ether in ourselves. And before we start, it would be nice if you could help me or do it with me. A little bit of respiration. We can have a moment to feel the silence around us, to feel the energy inside of us. And we could just stay in silence a moment. We can close our eyes. We put our hands with the palms towards the sky, towards the heaven. We can feel the energy around us. We can close our eyes. And if we press our eyes with our eyelids, when we inhale from our heart and we visualize that energy, that air from our heart to our third eye. And when we exhale, we throw the air from our third eye. We visualize it, that comes from our third eye to our stomach, to the base of our stomach. And we exhale with our mouths. Slowly, conscious of the hearing now. We inhale from our hearts, our third eye. We press our eyes and we exhale. We relax the shoulders. We appreciate this moment. We're thankful for today. We're thankful of where we are. We're thankful of who we are. And we're thankful that we have the support of God to us, to our cause, to have this possibility of finally be who we are, who we really are. We can open our eyes slowly. And how are we feeling? A little bit calm. At least a little bit. We should do this at least 30 minutes. And we can feel really the calmness in us. And the more we do it, the better we feel, the more in tranquility and peace we can stay. Would someone say something? Participate? Tell us our experience. If somebody's spiritual, what have you seen? What have you feel when you are in contact with yourself? Dorotea, please.
Hi, so I will just share this. The minute one does these breathing exercises and also focuses on yourself, and I call it going to your heart space, that is when you actually connect with Creator in a way that is part of who you are. And it brings healing, and also it releases things. Sometimes there are things that need to heal, hurt that was caused, maybe situations that doesn't feel so nice that needs to get, I call it, released out of yourself in the sense of unblocking the frequencies that can get blocked up. And that's why it is important. I believe it is important even to go and meditate and just take time to connect, time to heal, time to reflect, and time to grow from things. It's very, very much important. It's not just about going and reading the Bible or going and have conversations with God, but it's also about finding the true essence of who you are. I heal today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorotea. So we're near to our time. I don't know if somebody else would like to say something, or maybe be grateful for something. Also say a prayer. But I do, well, I was Catholic, and what I have lived is when we pray, we talk to God. And when we meditate, we hear God. We feel God. So if we can come together, maybe we could get a very nice experience. No? Would somebody want to say something? When the yes, Dorothea.
Um, I want to say just thank you. And I'm meaning this from my heart. I say thank you for Creator for life, and thank you for His love that He does have for us, and that His timing and things is always perfect. He's never too late, and He will always come through for those who love Him, and that stands on His promises that He made with us. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for Him being part of who I am in the process of forming who I am. And in the end of it, doesn't matter who says what about who I am or thinks what about who I am. It's not their opinion at the end way that counts. It's what God thinks of me. And that is what will stand in the end of all of it. So I just have a grateful heart. I've seen Him move in my life, and I've seen him how he comes through for those that really love him, and that's my heart. My heart has gratitude in tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Dorothea. Very beautiful. Dolores, please.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm a little confused because I think this meeting is for coordinators and for Anna. So I am highly surprised to see so many people. What's happening?
I don't know. Yeah, we were supposed to be less, no? I don't know, really. Tony had a problem in the airport.
Yeah, he told me. I'm thinking that maybe he put the link in the INAC Earth. So maybe we can gently ask everybody who is not a coordinator, please step out of this meeting. And thank you for your meditation and your good wishes for all this work that we're all doing. Peter, do we have a list of who the coordinators are? I think probably people came from the other group.
And Dolores,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is for everyone. This
Is it?
meeting. Yes, yes.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know that.
It's definitely for everybody.
Okay. So that's good. Everybody welcome. So I guess we have Wimpy here. Wimpy, are you around?
Dolores, yes, good evening, I am.
Hi. I think you coordinated with Tony that you were going to present the situation to Anna. Is that right?
Yes, yes, indeed, Dolores.
So as far as I can see, Anna is not yet in here.
No, as a matter of fact, Tony gave me his account to be here, and he asked me to do meditation with the people. He asked me to put a nice environment, and yeah, everybody's welcome. Therefore, the link was in both in the INAC coordinators and INAC also, no? So that's what we're trying to do. Only a moment to wait until Tony comes, until Anna comes. Just to hear the people a little bit about their feelings, about how are they today, you know? That's all we're doing right now. The real work comes when Anna comes in, but we're gonna wait for Tony to do that.
Tony just texted me that his flight is delayed, so I don't know whether he will be able to join shortly or not. When you are in the plane.
Yeah, I'm chatting with Tony also. Let's see. Let's see. But well, we can a little bit talk about how's Canada went.
Good.
Hi, it's good. I'm actually in my truck office.
Oh, really?
I'm on the side of a road in between getting straw bales and, everything else that we do. But I'm grateful today for the sunshine. It's beautiful. And for once, we do not have chemtrails. A friend of mine was teaching me something, and literally they said that when Jesus spoke to the waves, when the waves were up and the storm was bad and he was in the boat, his literal interpretation was to tell those waves to shut up. And so I took it upon myself, not that I'm doing this, but to actually go outside in the morning when they tried to pollute our skies with these trails. And I went out on the deck and I said to the clouds to shut up. And I gave the blue sky authority to take dominion over the sky. And it's kind of cool because there's a story which I'll share with you while we wait. And if it's too long, interrupt me. But the story goes this, that when Moses received the 10 Commandments, they were originally written on sapphire stone, which is on the throne room of heaven, the floor. And of course, those got broken. And but the Hebrew people also received from God direction to put a blue string in their prayer shawls. And the idea is that when they go to sin, or if they are walking through life, they also have these tzitzits they wear. And there's blue on those too. So every time they see the blue string, they're to remember God's well-being for them, because the 10 Commandments, the word isn't actually commandment, it's word, and it's written in love from God to us, saying, I've delivered you from your Egypt. Now, if you please, follow me. And so it gives a totally different light. So anyhow, when they see these blue strings, it reminds them to act in honor and to walk their best life path. And so when we see the blue sky, that's the footstool of God. And it's to remind us that we too have a choice to act in honor or to go forward and act dishonorably. And every day, it's our choice to self-govern. And so I'm grateful to see the blue sky today and to have remembrance of that. And I yield.
Nice, Gwen. Thank you. Super nice. Gary, you wanted to say something, please. Gary Maguire.
Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Mhm.
How we doing? I've nothing to say right now, but Díagwit, Irish for hello.
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 Okay. Dolores, you want to say something? Oh, Dorotea?
We're all very shy.
I see that.
Sorry, my sound was off. If I'm not wrong, I think when we talk to Anna, or when Anna comes, maybe first of all we should ask her how Jim is, because we prayed for him last week, and all through the week, at least in our assembly in Spain, people are praying for him, so they're asking me for feedback. And well, you've already created the atmosphere before, so that's beautiful. And then I guess we need to ask her what she would like to do. But I believe that Wimpy has something important to present. I don't know if Tony can speak because he's outside. I would love to see what he thinks about that.
Yeah. Okay, we can do that. Let's wait for Anna then. No? Oh, Tony, whoever comes first. Let's see. Dorotea, please. Oh, sorry, comes.
Okay, so it's interesting how we are all connected with same spirit, which is the God spark or creator spark within us. Because I also had powerful revelation about the storm and the boats, and God showed me something powerful. The disciples, when they were in that storm in the boat, they were like freaking out because they were thinking they saw this ghost approaching them. And then he stilled the storm. And here's the powerful revelation now. It's in our circumstances. Sometimes we just focus on the storm and we freak out, but within that storm, he is there. He's actually approaching with the storm. And then he quiets it up. And then here comes the powerful. The disciples ask, give the command to let me walk on water. You see, that's the thing. We should wait on God to give the command for us to walk, not just us stepping out in faith, let's walk. We have to wait on him to give the command to say, come to me. So that's something that God showed me this week. It was so powerful because sometimes we're in situations that is really so stormy. and we focus on all this stuff happening around us, but we don't see the beauty within it where God is approaching with light. And it's like, I'm coming, even in your storm, I'm there. And I'll shut it up, don't worry. But when I command you to come, just walk in faith. So I just think it's powerful that Gwen had it. I had it in that way, but thank you, Gwen, that you shared it in that way. But it's powerful how we all connected in the frequency of love when we are connected to God, how He shares the same message all around. I heal to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothea.
Looks as if Anna is with us. She is under the name of Shannon. Hi, Anna.
Beautiful name. How are you?
Anna, you have a bigger audience today. Tony kindly invited another group, not only coordinators, but other people who are also in the INAC group internationally. First of all, we want to know how are you and how is Jim doing? If you wouldn't mind to share that.
We're having all sorts of technical difficulties here this morning. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
well, I guess we're just going to go with that. I may have trouble hearing you.
Oh,
I'm not exactly sure why. I'm fiddling around here, so you'll have to talk up.
Okay.
My able secretary has not yet completely succeeded in training me on this new computer that he installed. So
We all go
I'm
through.
at my wit's end here as to what I can further do to improve the sound quality on your volume to me.
We can hear you perfectly. Do you hear us?
There, that's better. I got it. What do you know?
Diana,
Only had time to lose my window. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, you all know that Harold had a health meltdown, and I think it rather scared him. But anyway, he abruptly decided to sell his house, which meant that we had to close our office space in Anchorage, and it's caused a complete kind of reconstruction, reimagining, reconfiguring of everything you can think of. And so I've got a new computer here and a completely new system in my home office that I didn't have before. And it's taking me quite a bit to absorb, all the changes and the new equipment and everything. So please bear with me.
We bear with you, no problem at all. And you bear with us all the time.
that's true.
So apart from all of that hassle of moving offices, how is Jim doing in all of this, in the midst?
Well, he's supposed to come home today, and yet all of the appropriate arrangements haven't been concluded yet. So I'm kind of waiting on phone calls in between everything else.
Okay.
But apparently they have judged that he is well enough to come home now.
Wow, that's great news. That's really great news. Thank God for that.
I'm sure he'll be happy.
Yeah, we are happy for you too, to have him home, because it's much easier to take care of him when he's close than know when you have to get to the hospital and all of that.
Yeah, it's really very difficult.
Mhm.
But hopefully he'll be home later this afternoon.
Mhm.
Hopefully Shannon will be all right. He's been very sick too. Harold is in recovery mode, but I'm down 2 people here. And I have to make up for the midst of it and put up with all the extra work they created for me.
My goodness me. You are a real example for all of us of strength and determination and faith, optimism. We really thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I don't know that we have any choice.
You're right.
I always ask people that are critical and you know they want results right now and you know all the rest of it, and I'm saying, well, you know, you have another option out there that's fighting for you.
Mhm.
You know, I'm sorry, Donald Trump is failing to adequately or appropriately represent some very vital aspects of our country and its nature and its claims as a sovereign entity. And so, as a result, our people have been mistreated and abused and impersonated. And nobody seems to be concentrating on correcting this except our organizations, our own people taking action in their own behalf. That's what it's all coming down to.
Mhm.
But as we were discussing last week, we have a great amount of power that we don't really think about or exercise. And part of that power is our voice. It's turning out that in the realm of quantum physics, our voice has a completely unheard of and wonderful ability to basically order matter. And we need to learn how to use this and make use of it to control our external circumstance, improve our health, and bring to fruition the kind of world that we want to have and enjoy. You can all hear my dogs are going wild about something out here in the yard, and I have to stop a moment here and check it out and close them out of my office. So I'll be right back with you. But I want people to be aware of the importance of their voice and of speaking up and out and of basically commanding reality to conform to our orders, if there's any other way to put it. I think that most of us have been taught to pray, but we've been taught to pray in a very subservient and, in a way, inappropriate manner, because we were left in charge of this particular planet, and it's our ability and our role to be its caretakers and to order the unseen but very real physical realities of the quantum field to conform with what we want. And the way that we do that is through our voice. So I want all of us to be aware of what quantum physics is teaching us, and I want us all to engage in baby steps to exercise our will and to give voice to our will regarding the world we want to see. And I hope that everybody is continuing on their path to learn more about this and to test it out for yourselves. Now, a few years ago, I think it was like 3 years ago, we did I'm going to close my office door while my dog is distracted. She's very loud.
While Anna do that, maybe we can all silence our mics when she's speaking so that the recording has the highest quality for other people who may listen to this later on. What do you think?
I'm back.
Great.
I just wanted to note to you that like 3 years ago, our assemblies took part in an effort to obliterate what was called the Great Seal on Bardsey Island. Bardsey Island is an island off the coast of Wales, where an approximately 28,000 people were ritually sacrificed. The energetic seal that this created distorted the ley line and caused, in effect, a damming of energy in Europe that was intended and naturally should have gone to Africa. So for several weeks, we concentrated our thinking on this seal to erode it and wash it away. And finally, it broke. And then we went after the Great Palatine seal in Rome. And we did the same thing. We concentrated on erasing it, on just washing it away. And it broke. And as a result, we announced that, okay, well, the proper energy has been restored and the ley line is free and the magnetic force is now able to reach its natural destination of Africa. Africa, the energy that had been naturally apportioned to Africa by the Earth's geomagnetic grid had been dammed up and kept in Europe. Okay. So when we did this, everybody thought we were crazy. You know, I took no end of flack from people that said, oh, well, she's gone around the bend. Don't listen to her. She's a nutcase. And yet here, what do we see? Africa is finally uniting. Africa has just issued an ultimatum to Benjamin Netanyahu concerning the genocide in Gaza and told him that if it doesn't stop, the entirety of Africa is standing united against him. Think about that. In recent days, many African countries, especially in the Sahel, which is sub-Saharan Africa, and especially the Western states, the southern part of Africa, have stood up and told their French colonialist business partners, I say that lightly, to get out. That these African nations are going to develop their own natural resources and have the benefit of their own natural resources instead of continuing to function as bullied and corrupted colonialist states, in fact. All of this is happening, folks, because they finally have their energy restored. The natural force of the Earth's magnetic grid is restored. So the people are waking up to their own powers and their own rights and what's in their own best interest. And this is having a tremendous good effect on the entire rest of the world, because the Europeans will no longer be able to just arbitrarily walk into Africa and steal whatever they want and give a pittance to the actual owners of those resources. Every step forward for mankind is a step forward for each and every one of us. Horrible acts of violence and genocide that are taking place in Gaza are being opposed, forcefully and effectively opposed by Africa, not by the United States, not by Britain, but by Africa. We have not done the right thing. We haven't even come close to making an appropriate response to what's gone on in Gaza. Do you all realize that not only did they carpet bomb Gaza worse than the Dresden firebombing in World War II, but after they declared a peace and a ceasefire, they went back and did it again. These people are insane. And President Trump's response, I'm sorry, was totally inadequate and inappropriate. To go there and view that devastation and kind of hem and haw and suggest that, well, we'll find some place out in the desert and set up a new habitat for the victims. And, or, you know, let's not cry a tear over 20,000 children murdered by the insane Israeli regime. You know, and then let's let the Israeli impound the refugees, the survivors, in open air internment camps with no water, no food, no medical services, and left to die, and prevent the rest of the world from aiding these people, is a human tragedy on a scale that can't even be described, much less tolerated. And so far, Africa is the only continent to stand up and say, no, this isn't going to go, Mr. Netanyahu, you're going to go. Okay? This is what needs to happen, is for more of us to use our voice and to get organized to use our voice to defend each other, regardless of color or nation or religion or anything else, simply on the basis of we're all part of mankind. So, you know, I have faith in America. I have faith in Americans. I have no faith at all in the British Territorial Corporation calling itself the United States of America, and then gratuitously failing to add the word incorporated so that everybody knows that we're talking about a vicious, mercenary British Crown territorial corporation, and not about this country, and not about its people. All right? Our country is a good country. Our people are a moral people. And the entire idea that we've been impersonated by these commercial corporations, which are in fact only government services vendors, is enough to make me a wretch. But it is our job to present ourselves, to stand up and say, no, we're not going this way. We're not putting up with this. We're not going to stand idly by. We're going to raise our voice, raise our hands, organize our energy, and put a stop to this criminality. And so that's what I've been busily engaging in for the entire past week. And I know there are some people that adore Donald Trump, and he is doing some good things. But we must be reminded that at the end of the day, these institutions and the purloined offices that go with them have been part of the problem all along. And the missing element, the missing piece, is us, our voice. So never for a moment think that I've gone around the bend or that there isn't significant, and I do mean very significant, scientific evidence which more or less proves, to the extent that theories are ever proven, that this material world that we live in is a construct. And we have input to that construct via our thoughts, our feelings, and our voice. So, everybody think about how you use your voice. Think about how you uplift people or harm people by your words. Think about how important words are. Don't just take them for granted anymore. Our words are living in their own right. And especially when our words are captured as they are in a recording like this, they take on a life of their own. They're not fleeting. They're substantial. They're energy in transit. And we all know how a kind word or a measured correction to a child or a timely warning to a friend makes all the difference in our lives. We also know how insults and evil accusations, untrue accusations, and slander can hurt. It can murder a person with never touching them. Okay? So we need to become aware of the power of our words and our thoughts and our feelings, which is something that we are never taught in school. We are taught the exact opposite. We are taught to just fall in line and be good little robots. It should not surprise us that the AI movement has progressed as far as it has, and that robots have been created, because this is really what the 19th century industrialists, the factory owners, the the movers and shakers and rapers of the planet always wanted, was to create little robots that would be obedient and acquiescent and do whatever they wanted, right or wrong. Things that had no conscience, things that had only the ability to do the tasks that the owners wanted, the slaves, okay? They wanted slaves forever. And now they think they've got them, and they think that, oh, well, we don't need people anymore, so we'll just dispose of all the meat bodies and do everything that we need via robot. That's what we've got served up on our plates by people like Bill Gates. So our job is to take out Bill Gates and everything that Bill Gates stands for, and all of the pollution and all of the evil that he's done. And we can do that without lifting a hand, without lifting a finger. And in fact, in this country at least, we have broadcast a directive to the unseen forces. Now, you're all aware of the Bible and the stories in the Bible about Gideon's army, okay? You're all aware of the fall of Jericho and how a simple shout brought about the collapse of that gigantic edifice, right? And you all know the Genesis story that God spoke this world into existence. All right? So this is a matter of using your voice. And what we have set before our assemblies this week is a simple command. I command that all evil must be removed from the earth. Now, that isn't a real big deal. That sounds like something somebody might say, right? And yet it is a big deal, because we each have 33 trillion watts of power. We are the ultimate broadcast stations. And when we connect our mind with our heart and project that out into the quantum field, well, baby, things happen, and they happen rapidly, and they happen for the good. So all of you who are sick and tired of dealing with the evil in people that makes them evil people, all of you who are tired and have put up with enough evil pollution and enough lies and enough ill intent, this is the grandest experience and experiment that we've attempted yet. And it's very simple. You just find yourself a quiet place where you're not going to be disturbed. And you kind of center and ground yourself a little bit. You know, take a few deep breaths. And I have a very good way of centering, grounding, and relaxing yourself for this kind of endeavor. You start out and you say 3, and you just let a big breath in and out. And then more softly you say 3, and you take a deep breath in and out. And then you say 3 more softly, and you take a big breath in and out. And this will step you right down into a almost meditative state where you're relaxed but alert. Okay? So now you're ready to think about all of the evils that you don't want on this planet. All the pollution, all the lies, all the violence and unkindness. Okay? You have it firmly in your grip that you want all this stuff gone. And you let the emotion generated by the thought make that little transit from your brain to your heart. And you say, as a commander would speak to his unseen army, I command that all evil must be removed from the earth. Now this is a simple thing, but you'll notice it's a command. You're not begging, you're commanding your unseen army. Okay, you're the commander. You'll notice that it's explicit. There's nothing wishy-washy about this. There is evil. It is recognizable. It has its own energetic imprints. It can be separated out. It can be removed. Just like you might pick a tick off of a dog, we can get rid of evil. Both the evil that inhabits other people, that is understanding that they have free will and they can cling to it, okay? But if they're open to having it removed, we can remove it from people, we can remove it from things, we can remove it from institutions, and very importantly, we can remove it from the environment. Okay? So this is a very simple experiment in the power of conjoined will and the power of our voices. It is not some sort of instantaneous process in most cases. There are times when you use your voice and you use this sort of a command structure and the results are instantaneous. But sometimes it can take up to 30 days before you see everything moving in alignment with what you have ordered. When we do this, we do it in an act of faith. We do it because we know how reality really works. We know how quantum physics must obey us. And we don't care if people think we're nuts, because we have the greater knowledge. We know how physics operates. And so when we say it, we do it in the full faith and knowledge that, okay, this energy is going out into the quantum field, and it will have its effect. And I don't even have to worry about it. I have done my part. I have decided what I want, and I have expressed it to my unseen army. I've told them what to do, and I have implicit faith that they are going to follow my instruction. Why? Because I am the designated caretaker of the earth. You are the designated caretaker of the earth. There's nobody that has any more authority than we do. So it's up to us. Okay? Just like you would tell your employees, go do this. Go fetch that. Make this happen. I've often observed to you that the only thing we're good for, really, is to answer the question, what? We're not so hot on answering how. We're not so great at determining exactly when or why or who, but we can always determine what we want. We can always envision a world that's clean and at peace. We can always see ourselves in our ideal environment. We can always picture ourselves in the place or with the people and in the circumstance that we cherish in our heart of hearts. I call that our happy places. Okay? We all have our happy places, and we can go there just by thinking about them. Whether or not they exist on earth or if they exist only in our mind, it doesn't matter. We can go to our happy place, our vision of heaven, and we can find rest there. And nobody can ever lock us out of our happy places. Okay? No circumstance can deprive us of that. So I encourage everyone to go to your happy place. You know, when you're thinking about the world as it is, and you think about the world you want it to be, quantum physics is on your side. Quantum physics says you can have what you want. And oftentimes you will find that quantum physics will do a better job of providing you with what you want than you even know when you start out on this path. You know, you may imagine a little one-room cabin in the woods, and maybe that's the ultimate truth, and maybe that is what you need and what you get. But maybe reality, the quantum field that knows you so very intimately, will look at that and go, no, he needs a garage and he needs a garden. Oh yeah, and he needs at least 2 bedrooms. You know, this connectivity that you have with what they call, for lack of a better word, the ever expanding morphogenetic quantum field. If you twist your lips around that one, it knows us better than we know ourselves at some level. More of the accumulated truth of who we are is available in the quantum field than we are able to encapsulate in our little brains right now. If you think about it in terms of a computer, we have limited random access memory, okay? We have limited storage capacity. Our little biological computer tops out, and we can't carry forward all the information stored in the quantum field. But when we make this sort of an order, all of that is available from the other side. The greater supercomputer has it all in hand. The greater supercomputer knows the absolute truth about us and our total capability and everything that we are, everything we've experienced, everything that we want in our most secret soul of souls. And so when you give an order to your unseen Gideon's army, know that the answer sometimes comes back in ways that you don't expect and that are glorious beyond your wildest anticipation. But it always comes back. I have tried this myself, and I know for a fact that yes, you can get some very unexpected results. but you can also get unexpected miracles on a scale that are staggering. Now, I've told everyone this before, but I'll say it again. I've died 3 times. I have been dead, clinically dead, 3 times. And every time it's been a glorious experience. But I think the most humbling experience was when I was 18 and I died of a blem. A blem is an exploding air sac in your lungs, and it explodes so forcefully out through the lung tissue into the core of your body. You've got blood from other parts of your body flooding into your lungs, and you've got this horribly, horribly painful, excessive amount of air in your lungs. And the last thing I saw was an intern with a needle about 18 inches long, with his hands around the needle like he was going to drive an ice pick into a block of ice, coming straight down on top of me. Right? You know? And I was dead for 7 minutes. I didn't breathe for 7 minutes. I didn't have a heartbeat. I didn't have a brain wave for 7 minutes. But during those 7 minutes, I completely exited my body, took stock of what happened in the OR, you know, and then I began drifting upward, literally, through the floors of the hospital to the roof of the hospital. And I was just standing on the roof of the hospital, looking out over this beautiful green park area in back of the hospital. And all of a sudden, I heard the most beautiful music. I mean, it was just music that made my spirit sing. And it was coming from I didn't know where. And I looked around, and gradually I began to see an image as if it were superimposed on the landscape of a vast orchestra playing this music. And then I had an absolutely unimaginable thought, but a knowledge that this was my music. This is the music I would have composed if I were a composer. But I wasn't a composer in this life. That wasn't my mission. And so my symphony had been written for me and was being performed for me after my death. This was my welcome home. This was a secret so profound that even I didn't know how much I yearned to perform and to write music. I only realized that about myself as I stood there, separated from my body on the roof of the hospital, and had to come to terms with the fact that, for lack of better terms, better words, God knew me better than I knew me, and he composed it for me and had this played for me as I was exiting this world. Now, how humbling is that? That some being, some intelligence beyond yourself knew you so well and loved you so much that they did something like that for you. Okay? So this is the kind of intelligence that surrounds us. This is the kind of love, caring, knowledge, nurturance, everything that you can think of that surrounds each and every one of us. I mean, even today, when I think about it, tears come. I was so overwhelmed. And I am sure that the same is true. The same kind of love and knowledge of each and every one of you exists and is waiting to come forward to embrace you and to hold you in every situation that you can face. And all you have to do is embrace it. Be aware of it. Trust it. Know who you are to the extent that you can know while you are in this physical body. After 7 minutes of pure bliss, I drifted back down into my body. I would say, I was greatly encouraged. I was greatly energized. And I was ready to face the pain that I knew would come from reintegrating with this physical form. And so I returned to incarnate life, but I was changed. And each time I've died, I've been given additional information, additional experience of this great unknown, this all-encompassing energetic field. And I am not that special, folks. You know, we're each unique. We all have our genesis. We were all created individually with hallmarks and thumbprints. But the same kind of miracles, the same love is there for everybody. And all we have to do is align ourselves with it. Be grateful for it. Be humbled by it. And do what we are here to do. Our unique abilities are here for a reason. Each one of us has unique abilities that are here to be used and to be applied to caretaking this planet and everybody and everything on it. We're supposed to be the caretakers of creation. We're supposed to be taking care of the trees and the bees and the butterflies and the fish and all of creation. We're supposed to be the ones that are keeping the waters clean, that are keeping the air clean, that are turning our backs on violence and lies. Okay? So please keep in mind that I don't speak of anything I haven't experienced or that I don't have cause to know from rational research and scientific proofs. I'm not just talking out of my head. I'm not just, blathering about things that I haven't tried and done. And I'm assuring you that you can do it too. That together we are an incredible powerhouse for good. Now, I don't know what it's going to take in terms of numbers or energies or anything else. I mean, for the walls of Jericho to fall, apparently they had to do this a number of times. They had to build up to enough mass energy, and then they had to belt it out, baby, and make those walls tumble, okay? But even though I don't know the exact recipe for doing what we need done, I know that we can do it. I know that we're ultimately meant to do it. We are not meant to live here in scarcity. We're not here to live in chaos. We're not here to be in violence. And we're not here to kill each other. That is not our role. For sure. Absolute. Take it from me. This is not our intended role or condition. But we have to take charge of ourselves and of our empowerments, of our minds, our thoughts, our hearts. And we have to work together to create the world as it should be and could be. So this is my challenge to all of you today, is to go and act as the commander of your unseen army and say, I command that all evil must be removed from the earth. Say it like a commander. I command that all evil must be removed from the earth. Boom, just that. Simple, powerful. Get your commander voice on. Put on your general's underpants and really say it. Express it. Bring that energy down from your mind to your heart, and then from your heart, explode it out into the quantum field with all the strength and all the force and all of the determination, everything you can muster. This is the command. This is where we are going. We are here on our starship, and there isn't anybody that has any more right or authority than we do to command what happens here on Earth.
Amen.
Okay, and once you've done that, just walk away. You know, remember the story in the New Testament where the centurion comes to Jesus and says, my daughter's dying. And Jesus starts to, get up and walk toward the guy's house, right? And he says, no, sir. Just say it and she will be well. Because I am also a man who has those who are under my command. And I tell one to go and do something and he does it. And I say to another to do this and he does it. So only say it and she'll be well. And Yehoshua was amazed. He stood back and went, what? Here's this Roman soldier, this officer in the Roman army who has more faith than the Jews, has more of a concept of how it all works than they do, right? He marveled at the man's faith. But was it faith? Or was it simply that he understood how the world actually works, how physics actually works? And so Jesus gave the command, let her be well. And she was. Okay? We can do that too. We have been given that gift. And now it's time for us to enter the age of miracles and truly explore it. Okay, so that was an important part I wanted to get out worldwide, because the more of us who give the command from more points in the earth, the greater the resonance builds up in the quantum field. The greater the energy, the stronger the push, and the more unavoidable the command. Okay? So we do it. And then we walk away. We go back to our lives. We have the centurion's faith. We've said it, and it must be so. We've given the command, and the field must obey. Our Gideon's army is there, ready to hear us, ready to act. And our job has been done the moment that we give the command. I know that this is kind of an oddball topic for everybody, but it's something that we have to face, address, and do. I mean, it's not just about us individually. It's not about our individual countries. I mean, it is, but in the greater realm, we're all part of an entire world, a planet, an Earth. Okay? And so it doesn't matter if you're a Palestinian sitting in the dust and misery of Gaza, looking up at the sun and wondering if you're going to get enough food and water to survive another day. It doesn't matter if you're a fat cat Brit sitting in a gin joint in a club in London, scheming your most recent killing on the stock market. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you are, you all have the same needs. You're all part of the same planet. And we all need to start working together to make this planet and make each country what it should be.
Thank you so much, Anna, for that huge reminder. I don't know if this was a technical issue or you did it on purpose, but your voice sounded much more powerful because we don't see your video. I don't know if that was intentional or no, but I found it very, very powerful. Just looking at your picture on the screen. I don't know if it was your intention or not.
Well, I find that there is a certain amount of distraction. I mean, sometimes people need to see your face, and so other times they need to hear your voice. And today was a day when we needed to hear my voice, to know the passion and sincerity from my voice.
Hey, Anna, it's Tony. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, Tony, you wild Irishman. Where have you been now?
Well, I'm Tony Transit at the moment, so you'll have to excuse the train announcements here behind me. So I just wanted to jump in before I have to jump off. So yeah, apologies anyway for being stuck in transit, typical airline and train delays. But yeah, I'm not showing my face. I have a face for radio tonight, so that's I'm happy just to be on the voice. But I wanted to ask you something before and this is relevant. I think a lot of people want to know this. So we've got, is it true? And this is relevant to what you've been saying about bringing our collective power together. Sorry, 1 second. Please mind the step from the train. So I was just working out if we have approximately, if the figures are correct, we've through our community and namely the Global Family Group and all the assemblies, we have approximately 2.5% of the world's population. Is that correct in terms of 200 million? Rounded off.
Yeah, if you were to say 200 million out of 7 billion, but we have reason to believe that the population figures have been skewed. For example, we were told that China had almost 2 billion people, and it turns out that it has far fewer. So we don't have accurate data on that, Tony.
Well, regardless of whether it's 200 million or whatever, sorry, 1 second. Listen now, 1 second. I wish you'd ever shut up, this woman. No, there we go. So thank you. I had a challenge. You talked about challenges and you talked about, the power and everybody doing their what they have to do to get into their happy place. But whether it's 200 million, whether it's 100 million, it's a lot of bloody people, and it's a huge amount of energy, and it's an incredible amount of potential energy that we could create our own energy field if we could somehow. And this is where it's a great challenge because obviously these people are dotted everywhere. But if they are all part of the one community, I'm wondering, is there some way that we could organize some massive energy connection with as many of these people together to do some significant work in terms of bringing our energies together, our consciousness. And you know, because I've just thought about this a lot, and I'm like, okay, it's incredible that we have almost 100 people here. So and thank you everyone for being here. It goes to show that people are really getting what you're talking about, all about the consciousness, Anna. But is there a way that we could somehow I suppose the question is there a way that we could bring as many of these people together in some shape or form if we had access to the people to join together our energies in some massive energy field, whether it's to do a worldwide global meditation, a worldwide global consciousness or intentions or prayer, whatever that may be. But I just think it's a huge amount of energy that we could bring as many of those people together. Do you know where I'm coming from?
Well, I certainly do, and it is being done. We did it with the Bardsey Island seal and with the Great Palatinate seal. They're doing another grid workers meditation or drop in to clean up the waters of Lake Titicaca day after tomorrow. And people are meeting from all over the world in their own time zones and in their own way to give the command, basically, as I just described it to you, to clean up the water of Lake Titicaca and bring it into resonance with healthy water, which will then affect healthy water all over the world. You see, you can't affect any water without affecting all water. Just like you can't affect one man without affecting all men. Remember what I said about slavery. If we allow the enslavement of one man, we potentially allow the enslavement of all men. Okay? We create a condition, and as long as that condition is there, it has an effect, a resonance effect on all people everywhere. And it's the same thing with water. If we have vast pollution of our water, both our salt water and our fresh water, we're allowing that pollution to exist here. And it, in a sense, it energetically pollutes all water, both salt water and fresh water. And so what they're doing with Lake Titicaca, which is horribly polluted, right, is that they are working to clean up Lake Titicaca, and having cleaned up Lake Titicaca, that has a great effect on all of the bodies of water. It affects all water on the planet. It affects salt water, it affects surface water, and it affects groundwater. And you can use any body of water. I mean, you can go down to your local lake and apply the same force to your local lake. But on the 23rd of August, the grid workers are assembling via, connects, getting an invite, like we got an invite today, and they're concentrating on cleaning up Lake Titicaca. Now, it does not have to be just a singularly energetic thing. You can add extra force to your voice, to your thought, and your emotion by actually taking an action. So, for example, biotin will clean up any amount of garbage, biological, chemical, whatever, in a lake. And we know this from Japanese scientists who discovered this 30, 40 years ago and used it to clean up some of the worst polluted bodies of water on the planet. Now, this information was suppressed. So what happens if at the same time that we are concentrating our thoughts, our emotions, and our force to clean up Lake Titicaca as a global group, all assembling, just as we're doing here, as a group, and using our voice and using our intent to clean up Lake Titicaca, at the same time that people who are similarly aligned are there on site and are, you know, putting biotin into the water. They're taking it a step further. They're creating an alignment not only of their thought and their feeling, but their action, their physical action. So this is what's going on August 23rd. And I get a regular invite for these organized events from what are called the grid workers. Okay, we're grid workers because we're aware of the grid, the energy grid that surrounds the earth. So you've all heard of ley lines. Well, ley lines are magnetic force lines. And our earth is encircled by magnetic force lines. All right, so any point on the earth is associated with intersections of magnetic force lines. And you can actually project your consciousness up above the earth and see, if you allow yourself to do this, if you tell yourself to do this and you work at it a little bit, you can displace your consciousness up above the earth and you can see how the energy is like it's like a river or a system of rivers on the planet below you. And this is basically what the grid workers, that's why they call themselves grid workers, because they can see or sense in some regard this vast web of energy that encircles the planet, that flows in lines like a grid around the planet. And you know, great works have already been done of this nature, where people are agreed that they're going to, say, clean up Lake Titicaca, or they're going to clean up the smog over Capistrano, or you know, whatever it is. The grid workers have been working now for probably 20 years on different actions like this with great impact. Frankly, if they hadn't been working at this for that long, our planet would be in a lot worse shape than it is. So yeah, there are groups, Tony, that do this work. And there's no reason that anyone who spends a little time in practice and kind of opens up their soul and their heart and mind can't join in this great work to repair the planet and bring healing and help and love to the people on it. We just have to orient ourselves in a slightly different way and accept the fact that we've been lied to, not just about our governments, not just about our resources, but about our history and our religions. And yes, ourselves, we have been lied to about ourselves and our nature and our empowerments and our abilities. We've been lied to. We've been crippled at birth. You know, I can't describe it any other way than we have been lied to and deliberately crippled so that we could not do our job, so that we could not be caretakers, so that we could not learn the great power of our imagination and the greater power of our emotions. We were reduced down to being little robots for these fiends who practiced every kind of evil against us and against our planet, and they're nothing but refugees. They came here having destroyed Mars and came here as refugees and set themselves up to rule over us. That is what actually happened. Okay? And they have to go because they don't belong here. Evil does not belong on this planet. To the extent that it was allowed here, it was to teach us the difference between good and evil. Okay? So we now know we don't need any more lessons. We're not obligated to continue in this cycle of eternal war and thieves and murderers and pollution and all the rest of it. We're set free. We've learned the difference. At least I've learned the difference. And if you really think about it, you don't have to think very long to realize that, hey, war isn't a good thing. It's not good for anybody. Okay? It's not even really good for the people that benefit from it in some way, like making money from it. Because all that does is make them evil people. Okay? So not even they are being benefited by war. Disease. Okay, how long do we have to think about that one? Does disease really benefit everyone or anyone? Well, maybe once in a while somebody has to be taken down a peg. Maybe they have to face their mortality in order to grow. Maybe they have to experience pain so that they can develop compassion. I mean, maybe some of these things have their uses. And of course, we're free to experience whatever we want to experience. But in general, do we need disease on this planet? No. I say no. It shouldn't be just a happenstance, right? So there are a lot of things that we've learned. We've learned the value of truth. You know, people ask me, how do you know? How do you know that these are lies? How do you know that, you know, how do you just so clearly walk in and go, yeah, that's a lie. That's not how that happened. These guys are just giving us a bunch of bourgeois. Yeah, how do you know? It's because you align yourself with truth. You make your mouth speak truth. You make your thoughts dwell in truth. And the more that you do that, the more obvious the lies become. I took the pledge when I was 26 years old that I wasn't going to live this way anymore, and I wasn't going to tell any lies. I was never again going to, you know, knowingly tell a lie. Period. And that's what I did. I have made that a goal since I was 26 and I'm now 69. All right? So that's why it's easy for me to spot the things that don't add up. It's almost instinctive. And I very, very seldom flub up. I very seldom make a mistake about whether something's true or false. And that's why. It's because if you align yourself with truth, it becomes part of you. It becomes part of your internal matrix, if I can describe it that way. And when things don't add up, it automatically sends a kind of an alarm bell or a sensation, or, you sense it, that it's not true. You may not know exactly how it's not true, but you'll have your warning signals. So you basically develop these senses and you develop these abilities by aligning yourself with what's good and right and true. You direct yourself and align your thoughts and your feelings, and your thinking has to be pruned, right? You have to get rid of certain prejudices and things that have been foisted off on you by your indoctrination. But if you get down to that underlying level of just being aligned with what's true, that's a great place to start. And you will very quickly come to the conclusion that nothing but the truth matters. You know, what's really true in your heart? What's really true about your country? What's really true about the world you want to live in? Okay? And you won't have any doubts. You'll always be firmly centered and grounded in the truth. As long as you make the effort to discern the truth and are honest about that, you won't go far astray. What's the old saying? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, it's the same thing. If the tree is devoted and aligned to truth, then yeah, you may make mistakes now and then. You may be taken in once in a while, but for the most part, you're going to know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Thank you, Anna. I'm going to jump off now in a moment, but they probably want to hand over Dolores and Catular or whoever to get some urgent questions in from
I'm
the
sorry.
guys. No,
Okay.
just in relation to the assembly. But there was one question that maybe you could talk next time. You have spoken about it on your public. You put some on your webinars, etc. On this 60,000 spiritual or soul contract mission you're on. So love to know more about that. If maybe we could talk about that the next time.
Okay, well, here's the big news, folks. We all have a spiritual contract. We all have a purpose in being here. Okay, and sometimes that's a very fleeting purpose that is something that's just endemic to us. Okay, but most of the time we have a lifetime mission, and we need to find out what our mission is by a process of introspection and self-discovery. And by doing that, by looking into your heart and soul and observing yourself, figuring out what you're good at, what you're not good at, and you know, basically exploring the whole question of, gee, who is Anna Maria Reisinger? What can she do? What should she do? What's her mission? What is she well suited for? You know, by putting yourself through that kind of examination, you will discover your talents and your abilities, and you will explore the direction that you might otherwise ignore. Now, I'll tell you right now, I did not come here intending to be doing what I'm doing at the moment. I had no flipping idea that I'd be sitting here today talking to you all, and that we'd all be forming up assemblies, and that we'd be taking government corporations to task, or that we would be studying law to the depth that we are, or, you know, any of this. This is not, I'm a mathematician at heart. I started my life as a mathematician. I had no more interest in politics, law, or religion than a gnat has interest in an elephant. I mean, it just wasn't there for me, folks. I didn't even like English. I was shy. I was retiring. I don't like public speaking to this day. Okay? You couldn't find a more unlikely candidate, okay, for this particular job that I'm doing right now. And yet, for whatever reasons, which frankly escape me at this present moment in my present condition, I was prepared to do this step by step through experiences I had through my life. And at a certain point, I realized that I was being prepared for something that I had been prepared and trained and cared for and nurtured and protected and given opportunities and insights and experiences to make me the person I am. And so at a certain point, I realized that, and I had the good sense to be grateful for it. And so the moment came when I said, okay, I realize that I've been cared for, nurtured, protected, educated, that I've been given these exceptional different kinds of oddball experiences in ways I could never imagine. I realize, okay, and whatever it is I'm supposed to do, I'm here. I'm ready. And it was in that moment of both gratitude and willingness that I began this process of accepting what I was supposed to do. And I would suggest to all of you that that same process is universal. You have to come to an understanding that, yeah, you have been individually crafted, cared for, educated, had all these experiences in life. You have all these skills. You have been enabled to do something, and you may have no idea what it is. but having the self-knowledge or the self-introspection to know that you've been made and crafted and formed in the refiner's fire for reasons that you may or may not understand, but you've been given all this content for a reason. And just be open and accept, okay? Accept it. Just say, okay, well, I'm here. I'm ready to go. Let me do what I'm supposed to do here. Let me be blessed and let me be a blessing. You know, ever since I was a little itty bitty girl, I have had this one prayer. I have prayed it every day in every way you can think of. Let me be blessed. Okay, which is fair because I mean well toward everybody and toward all of the earth and the animals and plants and everything. There's nothing evil in me that has bad intent. Okay, let me be blessed. And let me be a blessing to others. Simple prayer, simple idea, okay? The other part of it is when you realize that you have been blessed and that you have been crafted, that you have been made, you have been put through the refiner's fire, you have been taught, you have been gifted with skills, that all of this that you are is like a magnificent artwork, and that you have a purpose, then by all means accept that purpose. You know, somebody doesn't have to step down from the stars and you know, turn into a blazing angel and come talk to you about it and say, okay, this is your part. You can just accept it and let it be. One of the things that I learned on this long journey is that God, the source, the creator, this ineffable magnum mysterious that is surround us and is the source of our life and everything else, whatever you want to call it, him, she, it never intrudes on us in a way that forces us to accept our mission. It's like Mission Impossible. Remember that old TV show? Yes, Jim, your mission, if you decide to accept it, is blah, 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 blah. And yes, indeed, it may sound like an impossible thing that you're supposed to do, but accept it. And when you accept it, you'll be given all the help, all the material, everything that you really need. You'll be given it. It will show up somehow. It will. I mean, when we started this, we had no money. We had no office. We had nothing. I mean, we were people that had fought the good fight, but we had nothing to, enable us to do anything on the scope that we're doing it now. And yet at each step, reliably, whatever it was that we needed, no matter how unlikely it seemed, it showed up right on time. So I'm telling you, have no fear of your mission, even if it seems impossible. Walk forward in faith and know that it will be there. As you need the money, it will be there. As you need the energy, it will be there. As you need the expertise, it will show up. Okay? And it will all work together in a beautiful symphonic way that you could not engineer if you spent all day and all night for every day that you lived trying to plan it out. You couldn't do it. Okay. So some of these things you just have to accept that, okay, I don't know what, except what I want and what I envision and what I feel and what I think and what I believe is true. You have this version of what in your heart. I don't know how I'm going to do this impossible mission. I don't know how I'm going to develop the skills. I don't know how I'm going to get the material to do it. I don't know how I'm going to get the money to do it. I don't know how I'm going to have all these abilities that are implied by the work. I don't have any grasp of that. Okay. I'm just a useful idiot standing here saying, okay, I'll go. Okay. And that's what I'm recommending to you. You don't have to know all these other elements. You don't have to know how or why or when or where or who. You just have to, be ready, willing to accept. I'll call it your divine mission, your contract, the work you're supposed to do to make the world better.
Thank you very much, Anna. We don't know how much time you have. We are aware that we've been an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half. I don't know if you got any more minutes or you have to go.
Well, it's 1:35. I should probably check in on my husband's progress to make sure that he gets home yet today. So in this, I only have an hour and a half between now and 3 o'clock when I have to appear on another podcast. So I probably should go. But you can all send me emails and just put INAC as the subject line, INAC, and I will do my best to get back to you. Okay?
Okay. Last week you invited me to help with the South American countries, and I sent you an email and another one to Terry, confirming that I'm very happy to help in any way I can. I don't know if you got the message, but I just wanted to let you know that I did confirm in writing.
Great. And we will be getting some things together for South America here real soon. I would like to introduce you to a man who has fought long and hard for, South American and Spanish speaking worldwide. And He's a wonderful man. His name is William.
Mhm.
And I'm looking forward to bringing together two such wonderful people.
Okay, I'm at your service. Also quickly, in the TASA website for Spain and for South America in general, we just have an email that is for Lida, and that email is not really working at all for the last 4 years. So I included in your email, I included Terry to let her know to see if they could change it for the actual email that we have in GFG, which does help bringing people to this project.
Absolutely. Well, I'm assuming that you sent contact information for how people can get in contact with you when you emailed me, and
Correct.
that those are, places where you're willing to be contacted for this purpose. So yeah, I'll look for that in the deluge, just as I'll use INAC as a handle to fish out your questions among all the others. But it's just under your email to me, a regular. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll look for it.
Dolores has on my email starts with Dolores, so maybe
There
you
aren't
can-
many Doloreses, so I'll find you.
I realized that. I realized that. I think I put something like South America on the topic, on the
Okay.
title, something like that. Okay, I feel very bad to say goodbye to you, Anna, because we've got Wimpy from South Africa who's been meaning to contact you about something important happening there. So I don't know if you want him to email you what he needs to say, because it's quite connected with what you're talking about Africa and how the whole assembly movement is coming together in Africa.
That's wonderful. Yes, well, he can call me, he can email me, and if we get 15 minutes, we can have a Zoom conference.
Okay. Wimpy, are you happy with that? And we let Anna go and take care of Jim.
Dolores, thank you. Anna, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We will be in contact, and thank you for everything that you're doing for the nations. We really appreciate it. Have a good day. Thank you, Dolores.
Thank you, Wimpy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to speak so long today on all these topics. I just felt like I needed to give everybody a kind of a big picture overview of the energetic landscape that we're heir to and what we can do with it.
It was a
No
great
apologies, Anna.
blessing.
No apologies. Thank you so much. Needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Take care, guys.
That was so inspirational. Thank you.
See you next week.
See you next
God
week.
bless you. See you next week.
Afternoon.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks all.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Cooking.
Slán lad.
Good night, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.